Okay, so can you see this? Okay. Uh, Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, I'll present in this mode itself, because if there are people who turn up late, then again I have to go out of this mode. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to do another application, that is voltage regulator. It is a control system which is automatic in nature, and we will actually study about the function in a moment. Now, okay. Right. So first of all, I'll just describe what is there within the system, and then we will go into the analysis, meaning that we will ultimately derive the model for the system in the form of a block representation, block diagram, as well as the transfer function. So, right, lots of latecomers coming in, just give me a moment. Okay, so over here, this is the voltage regulator that we are about to study. Now, I'll just, tell you first of all that this is a schematic diagram, in the sense that you would find that it's not exactly a circuit diagram as you would have expected it to be. Over here. So first of all, this particular unit that you see, I hope you can see the cursor. If not, let me know. This is a stabilized voltage supply. So by stabilized voltage supply, I mean that by and large, it is supposed to remain constant. Now, if there are variations, then this voltage regulator should be able to take care of that, meaning that as far as the operation of the voltage regulator is concerned, its function would be to give to provide a constant value of voltage at the output, irrespective of changes in the supply, as well as changes due to other, say, for example, component changes or any other changes in the parameters of the system, right? So I'll repeat that. What I say is that here in this this is a voltage regulator system, and in this voltage regulator system, what we have is a stabilized voltage supply. So it is expected that this stabilized voltage supply would be applying a constant voltage, more or less constant voltage is what I mean. Now, the objective of this overall, otherwise the rest of the system, would be to provide a constant voltage at the output side. So now, if the input is constant, why shouldn't the output be constant? Because basically it may so happen that there are some parametric changes in the system, or maybe there is a fluctuation in the temporary change in the stabilized voltage supply, that is the voltage that is being applied. So the objective of designing this voltage regulator would be that irrespective of such changes or such phenomena occurring, disturbances which are likely to disrupt the voltage, irrespective of that, the output side or the load voltage, this voltage should remain by and large constant. And if there is a deviation from the desired output voltage, say for example, if I say, okay, VO is the output voltage, that is the desired output voltage and should remain at VO at all times. Now, if for some reason the voltage at the output side has changed from VO to some other value, say a close enough value, but not exactly VO, then this overall system should have the capability of bringing back the voltage to its previously pre-specified level. That is, it should come back to VO by means of a corrective action that is taking place in the rest of the system. So that is the overall objective of the voltage regulator, the function of the voltage regulator. So now we are going to see part by part, first of all, what is there in the system, and then we will actually try to see mathematically, as far as the model is concerned, we will have a look at the model, and then we will see how the objective of keeping the voltage at the pre-specified level is met by this particular system, right? So here, first of all, yes, I've told you that there is a stabilized voltage supply, and here you find V suffix small r is the reference voltage. So the pointer is pointing somewhere, and this is the reference side. You can see the negative sign and the positive side, signs over there. So, with reference to this point, this would be a voltage VR, that is the reference voltage which is being applied. Next, this reference voltage is being applied at the input side of a, an amplifier, right? So this is the amplifier with particular gain. Ka is the gain of the amplifier, which has been specified over here, right? The input applied to the amplifier is denoted as EA. And if there is, I mean, this path, that is the feedback path, is not present, obviously EA should have been equal to the reference voltage, that is VR, right? So this is the amplifier unit, and the gain of the amplifier, as I mentioned, is Ka. Now that is being applied, the output voltage of the amplifier is being applied to a constant speed generator, to excite the field of a constant speed generator, right? So you find that here, of course, as I told you, this is not a circuit diagram, but basically a schematic diagram. So what is meant over here is that the output side of the amplifier is connected or is being used to excite this coil over here, that is EF is the voltage being applied to the field of this constant speed generator that you find over here. So that's written over here, it's a constant speed generator. Now this is the armature side, as you must have recognized. The shaft shown over here by this dash dotted line, and now the angular speed of the constant speed generator is small n, right? So it's written over there, and basically the rotation is shown over here, and that speed is going to be a constant. Now, as far as the electrical side over here is concerned, as I mean on the armature side, you find that the resistance of the armature is shown separately as Ra over here, the inductance being assumed to be negligible. And now, I mean, you find that Ia is the current in the armature circuit. And here you find there is a switch over here, right? So these are basically mechanically coupled. So it can either be in the open position as shown over here, or if this is pulled down, then you will find that this contact will be closing this side and this one will be closing the other side simultaneously, so that if it is pushed down this switch over here, you find that this side is going to be connected to the load. Now, as far as what is shown over here, the load is shown separately. You can see that this is the load shown as a resistance, and the voltage across the load is VO, O for output. Okay, so sometimes I tend to say 0, but basically I mean it's VO for the output, right? Now, as far as the connection over here is shown as open. So now, I mean, let us say that we have a particular, arrangement over here such that there is a resistive element and a pointer, so that a portion of the voltage, that is this voltage at the output side, is going to be fed back via this arrangement. So you find that this Kf is a constant. You can see this, right? This one is what I'm referring to. And this Kf will be equal to the ratio of R suffix small r by only R. So where small r is the resistance of the whole of the resistive element, and RR is the portion of the resistive element which is actually taking the voltage for the feedback. So basically the amount the amount of voltage that is being fed back is a fraction of what you get at the load side or the output side, right? So basically the amount of voltage that is being fed back is shown over here, that is equal to KFVO. I hope you can see the cursor again. If not, let me know. Now, okay, here basically the signs are a bit shifted to the left. This end of this feedback, actually you find there is a switch over here which is shown as open, and this positive sign should actually shift a bit more towards the right, so that the negative sign also shifts a bit more to the right, right? I hope you've understood that. What I mean is that as far as the feedback is concerned, this side is positive and the other side is negative. So this negative actually comes closer to this line and the positive comes closer to the other side. So it has, I mean, got a bit shifted just because of the way the figure has been drawn. But nevertheless, I mean, you can make that small correction, meaning that this actually shifts to the, I'm not going to save it, but what I mean is that this is the positive side and the other one is the negative side, right? So this is the negative side. So now, I mean, as you can see, this EA is the voltage applied at the input of the amplifier. And EA now will be equal to how much? It will be the difference between VR and KF V0, because you find that V0, VO, whatever. So you find that this is the negative side, this is the positive side, polarity wise. This is the negative and this is the positive. So basically, EA will be VR minus KF VO, where KF, as I told you, is the ratio between RR and only small r, right? So now we are going to see certain things regarding this. Let us go through what is written. So this, yes, a separately excited constant speed generator, separately excited, you can see that, and it's a constant speed generator, is fed from the output of the amplifier. As I told you, the amplifier is feeding the separately excited constant speed generator, right? The amplifier has a gain Ka, as I have mentioned. Now the input to the amplifier, this one, input to the amplifier, EA is equal to, as I just mentioned, VR minus KF VO, right? Now we will try to see, first of all, what is the equilibrium condition, what is called the equilibrium condition for this system. And then if there is some deviation from the equilibrium condition, how the system takes corrective action such that it comes back to the equilibrium condition, right? So basically, that is what we are going to see. Now, the input EA, input to the amplifier, is such that it produces a field current IF. Now, EF, as I told you, is the EMF across the field, and IF, you can see the notation over here. IF is the current in this field circuit. So, let us say that EA produces a field current IF, right? And this IF actually generates an equivalent your voltage, that is EG. So since this is a constant speed generator, the speed being specified as N, and given a particular field current, it will generate a particular, voltage at the, it will generate a particular output voltage over here, that is generated voltage, not output of this, the overall arrangement, but this, that is your output of this generator will be equal to EG just across the armature, right? So EG is the generated voltage. Now, so that allowing the IARA drop, it produces a voltage VO. So basically you find that, as I said, this is the armature resistance. So ultimately VO, if we say that, first of all, let us say that this switch is in the off position, meaning that the load is disconnected. So the output voltage over here is, it is supposed to give an output voltage of VO, right? Across this, that is this side, because it is disconnected. So VO is produced after you allow for the IARA drop across the armature resistance, right? So your V at the output side will be the generated voltage EG, and you have to then consider the IARA drop. So from there you would be getting the VO. Now let us say that there is a reference voltage which is applied, and as a result of that you have EA as the input of the armature, that is the voltage at the input of the armature, and that has produced IF such that you get an EG which gives you VO, right? So this is the equilibrium position, right? So whenever, let us say that we start from this, start the analysis from this position, that is the equilibrium position, when you are already getting an output voltage of VO. Now we would be seeing that, whether the objective of keeping the output voltage close enough to VO is met, given some deviation from VO, right? Right. So now this is the next slide, though you have the same picture. Okay. So if the, now we are going to see what is going to happen if the equilibrium is disturbed. Equilibrium condition is disturbed, right? So if you look at this figure now, let us say that somehow you have the output voltage is increased by an amount delta VO. I'm just, trying to select the portion that I'm speaking of. So we are saying that the is output voltage is increased by an amount delta VO, right? So how can the output, voltage suddenly change? Change means increase in this case is what we are considering. It may be caused due to, say, speed increase or decrease over here, right? It's, speed increase or decrease in the load or increase in the amplifier gain, etc. So due to some reason, some parametric change somewhere within the system, let us say that your voltage at the output has got disturbed and it has got increased by an amount equal to delta VO, right? So now what would happen in the system is what we are going to see. Now, if you look at the diagram, if the output voltage is VO plus delta VO, then the amount of feedback that you get over here is going to be changing, right? So earlier when the output voltage was VO, we got a feedback amount equal to Kf into VO over here. Now, if VO changes to VO plus delta VO, then the amount of feedback will now be Kf whole into VO plus delta VO, right? So that now your EA that you get over here is no longer going to be VR minus Kf VO. It is going to be how much? It's going to be VR minus Kf into VO plus delta VO, right? So that, I think that's speaking somewhere, yes. So this is going to be the EA. Now the new EA, after your after your VO has increased by an amount delta VO, the new EA will be equal to VR minus KF into VO plus delta VO, right? So now if you look at this, earlier the EA was equal to VR minus KF VO. Now the EA is equal to VR minus KF VO minus KF into delta VO. So it's a bit smaller, it's lesser than what it was earlier. This is EA that I'm speaking of, right? So EA earlier was VR minus KF VO. Now EA has become VR minus KF VO minus KF into delta VO. So it is lesser than what it was previously. So this lesser amount of EA will be producing a lesser amount of IF, right? And as a result of that, because the EF is going to be changing, right? So basically EF is going to be lesser and that's resulting in a lesser amount of IF, and this will actually decrease EG by an amount equal to, let us say, delta EG. So EG will definitely, generated EMF is going to be decreasing because EF has decreased over here, right? So that now let us suppose that the EG has decreased by an amount equal to delta EG, right? So that now, if we assume, okay, now over here, let me say something I have forgotten to mention. I should have done it earlier. That is, this resistance that we are speaking of, this small r over here, is large. It is made large such that we would be assuming that there is very negligible, actually very negligible current flow through this, if, when this switch is actually opened. So that we assume that we get almost your VO over here, and that is going to be it is almost going to be equal to, because your IA is going to be very, very small due to the very large value of R, basically this VO will, almost be equal to the EG value. But nevertheless, if say EG has decreased by an amount delta EG, so now assuming negligible change in the armature drop, because as I told you, IA is very small, so IARA overall will be very small. So the armature drop, change in the armature drop will be negligible. So as a result of this change in this decrease in the EG by an amount delta EG, naturally you will get, now at the output we had started off with, remember we had started off with VO plus delta VO. We had said that VO increases by an amount delta VO. So now, that will become equal to, the output will become equal to VO plus delta VO minus delta EG, right? because over here Eg has decreased by an amount equal to delta Eg, right? So basically what has happened is that we started off with VO, and then we assume that that had somehow increased by an amount delta VO. So delta VO plus VO is what we had before the before the action of the voltage regulator was concerned. By by the property of being a voltage regulator itself, the way the components are actually arranged, etc., it has been able to, the system has been able to get a decrease in the voltage by an amount equal to delta Eg. So that now, this VO was the first value, and that is the desired value. After increasing by an amount delta VO, it has decreased by an amount delta Eg. So this overall amount is much closer to the original level, that is VO at the output side, that was pre-specified, right? So basically, the system will have the ability of taking a corrective action so that any increase in the output voltage will lead to a correction and hence a decrease, which is going to make the overall voltage closer to the pre-specified value, that is VO. This portion that I have selected over here is going to, they are going to balance one another. Delta VO increase and delta Eg decrease will more or less bring the overall uh, ultimate voltage at the output side very close to VO, right? So this is how corrective action takes place in this system. So now we will actually derive the transfer function as well by writing down the equations for the dynamics of the different parts of this system. So now, starting with, okay, this field circuit, RF and LF, it's mentioned over here, are the resistance and inductance of the field. So, starting from this amplifier rather. So, the amplifier output is EF. So, EF is equal to Ka into EA. So, that is the amplifier equation. And also writing the equation for the field circuit, EF is equal to RFIF plus LF DIF dt. So, that is the equation for the field circuit. So now if you take out RF common and express it in time constant form, so tau f given by LF by RF, obviously, and this is going to be what you get. So RF into IF plus tau f DIF dt. Now, next, if you, proceed further, we've written the equation for the amplifier as well as the field circuit. So now this field current, that is IF, is going to produce an equivalent flux, which is assumed to be, in this case, again, for simplicity, it is assumed to be having a linear relation with the field current, right? So basically, flux produced is going to be proportional to the field current, and the constant of proportionality that we are considering over here is K phi. So that we have phi is equal to K phi into IF. So now as the speed n is constant, okay, so that is as far as the flux is concerned. Now as the speed as this is a constant speed generator, as I started off with, so Eg, now if you want to write, Eg was supposed to be proportional to the speed as well as the flux, right? Now since the speed is constant, Eg is only proportional to the flux, right? So Eg is equal to some constant, say kg into phi, right? So this is the equation from which now if I replace phi with k phi into if, this is what we get. So Eg is equal to kg k phi if, where kg is known as the EMF constant in volts per Weber. You can see that, right? So over here, kg is the constant linking a voltage with the flux. So the unit is going to be voltage per flux, that is V volts per Weber. And k phi is known as the field constant. So k phi, where do we have k phi? This is k phi. You can see it is linking your flux with the current. So it's going to be having the unit of flux per current. So the unit is going to be Webers per ampere, right? So k phi is the field constant in Weber per ampere, right? So now we come to the output side. So output side, the voltage at the output is equal to VO, and VO is going to be equal to, you can see that, EG minus IA RA, right? Now, since, as I said, this resistance over here is made large, small r is very large, so that we assume that a negligible current circulates over here if this if this switch is in the off position. So under that condition, we have VO equal to EG minus IA RA, and RA is approximately equal to 0. So that VO is can be considered as being almost equal to EG. I've used the equality sign over here. You could have also used the approximation over here. It would have been a better notation, yes. So anyway, VO is approximately equal to EG, right? So
Ma'am,
that, yes,
ma'am, here we are considering RA to be maximum or IA to be 0.
RA, IA. Which one, what did you say?
Ma'am, in that equation V0 equal to EG minus IARA,
Hmm.
here
Okay,
we are
I'll tell you.
considering.
Okay, I'll just tell you again. We are considering we are considering that R, this small r over here, this whole resistive element across this side, this is large, right? So if this is large, what will happen? Small r is large, this resistive element over here. So if the resistive element is large, if the switch is in off position, there will be negligible circulating current. That is, IA is small. Okay, R is large, so that IA, that is the circulating current over here, is small, very small. So if IA is very small, then this portion, the second portion, can be neglected. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. So, so that we are saying that EG minus IARA is approximately equal to EG, because IA is very small. Why IA is very small? That I told you, because because this system is designed to have a large R over here, meaning that we expect that if the switch is not connected to the load, then there is practically negligible circulating current over here, meaning the IA that we would be having, right? So basically IA is negligible, as a result of which we have VO is equal to EG, right? So now, taking the relation from here, we had IF RF is equal to EF. So basically IF is equal to EF by RF. Now EF, from here, we have this EF, and now your mm, the EF. Okay, now we are taking from this one. Sorry, not the this original one, but this side. Sorry. So from here now, we have EG is equal to kg k phi IF. So that IF is equal to EG by kg k phi, right? So IF is equal to EG by kg k phi from here, and EG is also equal to VO. So basically IF becomes equal to VO by kg k phi. So this is what we get. So now again, starting from this one, that is KAEA is equal to RF IF plus tau F DIF dt, coming from that relation and substituting the value of IF with VO by kg k phi that we found out last. So KAEA is equal to RF whole into, now IF has been replaced by this over here as well as um, over here. So basically we had tau F into DIF dt. So DIF dt has now become V0 VO dt, sorry, by kg k phi, right? So kg k phi, of course, are constant. So we have tau F by kg k phi dVO dt, this, right? So now if we take out this kg k5 in the denominator as common, this is what we can rewrite it as this last one, right? So that now uh, from here you can we have ka ea is equal to this. So ea is equal to the this right hand side expression by ka. So that is what has been written over here. So we get an expression for ea in terms of vo, that is the output voltage. Now taking the Laplace transform, we have eas is equal to this rf by kg k5 ka whole into VOS plus tau F S dVO S dt. Sorry, SVOS. Right. So this is what we get over here after taking Laplace transform. Constants, of course, are remaining the same. So now, I mean, just okay. So if we consider now, this is the output voltage, and this is, I mean, EA is actually, if we, okay, let me reframe my sentence. We have applied a voltage VR, that is the reference voltage over here, and we have a voltage EO at the output side. There is a feedback which is equal to KFVO. Now, the rest of the things that is from this EA up to the VO side is whatever we have in the forward path. So we are trying to actually build a transfer function of the forward for the forward path, right? So what will the transfer function for the forward path be in terms of? It's going to be having VO at the output and EA at the input, right? So this portion, the transfer function of the forward path only is what we are looking at. So that is going to be VOS by EAS, right? So that is given by, directly comes from this expression, you can see. So kg k5 ka by rf into 1 plus s tau f, right? So that now we can see that kg is a constant, k5 is a constant, k is a constant, as well as rf is a constant. So all those things taken together as another constant, say capital K, is going to give us this VOS by EAS as some constant by 1 plus S tau F. So now you can see that this, the forward path transfer function VOS by EAS, that portion becomes a very simplified one. That is a first order transfer function with the constant by 1 plus S tau F is the form that we have, right? So the forward path transfer function, if we denote by GS, that is expressing VOS by EAS, is given by K by 1 plus S tau F. Of course, K is equal to whatever we've stated over here, Kg K5 K by RF, and tau F is equal to LF by RF. That is the field inductance by resistance, right? So this overall, I mean, this is the overall forward path transfer function that we have managed to derive. That will make our work of deriving the or drawing the block diagram easier. Yes. So this is the block diagram. Now, I mean, you recollect that VR was the EMF that was being applied. And now, I mean, we had a summing arrangement over there by means of this. I'm just showing you over here. Again, this sign has been shifted. I've told you that negative sign and positive is going to be shifted a bit to the right. So that, I mean, you have this EA as being equal to VR minus this feedback, whatever is coming over there. So that has been indicated by a summer, that is an error detector sort of arrangement with a positive sign over here and a negative sign over here. What comes at this side is going to be equal to KF into VO that we've already said, where KF is equal to the ratio of RR by R. That is the portion that is being a portion of the resistance from which the voltage is being fed back. This one by the total resistance over here. So that is KF, as I told you. So that now this is the overall block diagram. So the forward path transfer function we had already derived, GS, that is equal to VOS by EAS is equal to K by 1 plus S tau F, that has been put over here. And we have VO, so VO is being fed back via KF as with a negative sign to give us EAS. Actually, EAS is the input of the amplifier. And then from the amplifier to the rest of the things up to the output voltage, the overall block diagram or overall model has been represented by means of this block in the block diagram. Okay, so this is the resultant block diagram that we have got from the system, that is the voltage regulator system, right? So the closed loop transfer function, if we want to derive now, since we've got it in block diagram form, these things are going to become much easier. So VOS by VRS is what we want if we want the closed loop block diagram. That is equal to GS by 1 plus GS HS. So HS we are saying is the feedback path transfer function. KF, HS is standard thing that we have the notation that we use for the feedback path. You know that already. So this will be the closed loop transfer function, right? So if we want to derive that, you can derive that means you just put in GS and the HS and you are going to get VOS by VRS. Also, now over here, the actuating error. So I mean this EA actually is also the actuating error, you would have realized, because here we have a non-unity feedback. So EA is equal to VR minus KF VO, right? It's not, EA is not going to be the error actually, it's going to be the actuating error. So actuating error, EAS is equal to VR minus HS VO. HS meaning KF, of course, in this case, feedback path transfer function into VO. So that is going to be given by VR remains as it is. Now HS remains as it is. VO we are writing in terms of VR and this, that is GS by 1 plus GSHS. So from here we are taking VO and putting it in this expression, right? So this is what we this overall thing is what we get. So now, I mean, if you want the actuating error transfer function, you would be able to get it. Of course, I could have done it in another way as well. Another way as well means that we know that EAS by VRS is going to be equal to what? It's going to be 1 by 1 plus GH. So that is, I mean, ultimately what we've got is that the same thing. So here now, I mean, taking the terms and taking a common denominator, etc., etc. First of all, what has been done is VR has been taken out, common, and this is what we get. And then finally, taking a common denominator, we get that EAS is equal to VRS by 1 plus GSHS, right? Which is the same that we would have got if we had directly gone from the block diagram in one step. Also, we could have got that. The same thing is what we are going to get and what we have got. So the actuating error here is equal to VR into 1 by 1 plus GSHS. Now, of course, I mean, the actuating error transfer function, if we put in the value or the model for GS as well as HS, we are putting what GS and HS stand for over here. So GS is equal to K by 1 plus S star, that has been put over here. HS is equal to KF, that is also been put over here. And then, I mean, just trying to simplify it, this is what we get. So now, I mean, for a step input, let us say that the amplitude of the step is capital V, this one, right? So that VRS is equal to capital V by S, right? So this V over here indicates an amplitude, a constant, not the, I mean, notation for the variable, that's the voltage. So this is the constant, that is the value of the step, the amplitude or magnitude of the step input. So VRS is equal to V by S. And now, I mean, from EAS, if you, I mean, from this expression, EAS is equal to VR into the rest of the things. So from there now, VR has been substituted by V by S over here. So if we want to find out the steady state actuating error, EASS, that is the steady state, we apply the final value theorem, that is limit of SEAS as S tends to 0, and then just calculating, we get this. So here we find that we do have a constant steady state actuating error over here, depending on what your V is, right? Similarly, for this, I mean, voltage regulator, if we want to find out the steady state error, right? So if we want to find out the steady state error, what we have to do is we would have to find the G equivalent, we've discussed this, a lot of times earlier. So we would be having to find out the equivalent GE with the unity feedback and then go for the steady state error. So here, it's done in a different, by using a different path. What has been done is that the steady state output voltage has been found out. So steady state output voltage, okay, CS is the notation for the output. So VO is the output for our case, VOS. So in the steady state, we would be having limit of S into the this. That is basically if we are applying a step input as a reference input over here. Now, if we have this, hmm, this okay, what has been done over here is the steady state output voltage has been found. Okay, so output voltage, we are going by the path of finding the steady state output voltage for the overall system, and then we will find the error from there, steady state error from there. Instead of, finding the error transfer function, we are doing it that way. So for that, now the steady state output voltage is found out. So basically, if instead of showing you this diagram, if I show you the previous one, it's going to be easier for you. You have GS over here and HS over here. So what will VOS by VRS be? It's going to be GS by 1 plus GS HS, right? So that what is VOS going to be? It's going to be equal to VRS into GS by 1 plus GS HS. So from there now, VRS is equal to V by S and GA. Your overall closed loop transfer function is GS by 1 plus GS HS. Applying final value theorem, the output in the steady state is going to be given by limit of S into the input into GS by 1 plus GSHS as S tends to 0. So now, GS and HS have been substituted and all that, and the output voltage has been found out in the steady state, right? I think, yes. Alternatively, of course, again, you could go by this path, the one that I was trying to say earlier. That is basically the equivalent G is found out as G equivalent. This we have found out earlier, so that has been done. And then by, finding out the error transfer function ES by VRS, just, calculating, this is what we get. And finally, for a step input, if you calculate the steady state error, this is what you are going to get. So alternatively, if you go by this route, you are going to get the steady state error. If you went by the other route as well, you would have got the steady state error. So this, if you, from this, that is the steady state output, if you want the steady state error, you will subtract the steady state output from the input that is being applied. So ultimately, it's going to give you the same expression for the steady state error, right? So this is the steady state error. Now, as expected, though I've gone through the tedious process of finding out the actuating error, the steady state actuating error, as well as the steady state output and the steady state error, I found out all those things. In this particular system, that is a voltage regulator system, we do not expect that the steady state error is going to be 0, because we are not, going for, it is not a system where we would be expecting the output to follow the input, rather the other way around, meaning that we would be expecting that a corrective action would be taking place such that if there is a change in the input side, that would not be reflected on the output side. So we did not expect the steady state error to be 0, and we found that it is not 0. That is, the most I can say regarding the steady state error. So there is some amount of steady state error, and that is what is expected for this particular system, which is a voltage regulator system. So if you recollect, in the last class, we had done a remote position control system where the objective of the system was to have an output which would follow the input, and if there were changes in the input side, the output side would also have to change accordingly. So over there, it was expected that the steady state error would be equal to 0. However, for this system that we are studying, it is different. The objective is different. It's a voltage regulator, and we have seen that the voltage regulator would be actually having a corrective action. In the first few slides, we have seen that. And here again, we have analyzed the steady state error and we see that no, the steady state error is not equal to 0, which would have been of concern if, because this system, if it had a 0 steady state error, it would mean that the output would be following the input, but that is not the case. So this is the voltage regulator system. So I will be ending today's class here because we've reached the end of the voltage regulator system. I'll stop the recording. As well as the presenting, but I'll take your attendances before you leave. Please respond to your rules.